All right, I have this Sears GT 18 horse mower uh, that it runs on half choke. So that's a sign of needing a carburetor cleaned. So I will be showing you today how to clean it, to take it off and clean it. Now, the easiest way to do this is open your hood. Mine is broke off, so I'm going to set mine aside. You can unbolt your hood if you want, or just leave it center, as long as you don't keep on wanting to knock you in the head while you're working right here. Because the carburetor is right underneath all this. And it's going to be a handful. Alright, first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and take this top shield off here for the air breather. Take the air breather out. You know why that's out too? You know, you may want to look at it and see if it may need to be blowed out. Alright. Alright, so there's a nut right here and a bolt that you'll need a 3/8 wrench. Oh, no it ain't. Alright, so there's 7/16 wrenches. So you'll need 2 of them or a socket, however you need to loosen that up. We gotta get this bracket off of here. Just like that. Alright, so now you'll need a Phillips. And inside here, there's 3 Phillips. What I'm gonna do first though, is I'm gonna pull my choke all the way. So if I lose a screw in this, I'm not dropping it down the carburetor. I'll go ahead and get them loosened off, taken off. See, it won't take much to drop one in the carburetor, even though we're taking the carburetor off, but it just makes it nice so you know you're not making more work for yourself. Alright, so now when you go back to the front here, we got to get this choke cable off. Alright, so there's a screw right here that takes a flathead screwdriver, as you can see it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. Probably should have done that before I took them screws out of the top, but it's okay. It'll work. Yeah, shouldn't. Just don't drop that screw. And then now the cable just slips down and out. You had to take that screw all the way off to do that. And then pull that cable. If you release your choke back to normal again, that gives you some more slack. Then you just pull on the cable, pull back. As you see how it's slanted, just got to get past this little bend right there. Comes right back up, or comes right off. We're going to put this screw back into there so I don't lose it. Just like that. Alright. Now we gotta get this rubber grommet right here down and out. And then this one, there's this. All you gotta do is squeeze and pull it out. That's all it does is stick in there. So that's up and out of your way now. And as you can see, the carburetor sets right there. Alright, so this carburetor is attached to the intake right here. So we have to take off these bolts here. There's one here, one underneath the exhaust right here, and then there's 2 back here we gotta get off, which they're 1/2 inch sockets. I'll go ahead and loosen them. I'll get them off. Just pull that all the way off like that. As you see. Same thing in the back here, there's 2 of them. Menu to extension, that helps a little bit. That one's off. So now, before we go to it, well, I guess they could stay on there. If you want, I'm going to go ahead and move my spark plug wires. All I'm going to do is just pull one this way and pull one back to the back towards the car, or towards the battery. So then you know where they go at and you don't mix them up, which is pretty hard to mix them up anyways. So next we got to get the gas line off. So that's just a flathead screwdriver. It does have a 1/4 inch nut driver you can put on it if you want. So we're going to get that loosened. And take that screwdriver, get between the carburetor and the hose, and just pry it back. It should come off. If not, take a little pliers, give the hose a little twist, back and forward a little bit, and then pry it off. It should come right off. Alright, so now we got to get this throttle governor rod off, which there's a tab right here. Let's see if I got you in a good spot. Alright, so I'm trying to hold the camera and show you right here. You need to push that down. That just locks that governor rod in so it don't fall out, and pull it out. You want to push it far enough away so it gets away from the intake. Alright. Now there's a wire that goes over across, which all that does is it just pops onto there. So just take that off, set it to the side. Just remember we have to hook that back up. We're going to move that. Alright, there's one more hose, and it's right here. We're going to pry that off. All that is your vacuum for your fill pump. Set that to the side. And this should be ready to come out. Just easy with it so you don't rip your gaskets if you don't have any extra. And there you go, that's what it looks like. Now, mind you, if you're not going to put this back on right away, put some paper towels or something over your holes. Sure you don't get nothing in it. Alright, we're ready to go to the other side and clean it. Alright, so there's 2 bolts here. I'm taking my intake off because it doesn't want to set flat so I can clean it. So there's 7/16 sockets. We're going to go ahead and take them off. It just, like I said, it's not that hard to take off. You might as well do it. Just makes life a little easier. You're not dealing with all that intake. Just kind of remember which way it went. So that's just like that. And remember, don't forget to put your gasket on. Sometimes I get in a rush and forget myself. Alright, so see, that's why it sets flat now. So now we need to get, there's 4 screws right here. That takes a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and break them loose. Get them all the way off. So alright, we got them off. I'm trying to keep my carburetor one way, so obviously when I go pick up the intake, or when I go pick the carburetor or slide the intake over, it stays all in one spot. I know I'm putting it on right, and then you don't have to fight around getting all of this turned off. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off. Be careful you don't rip your gasket, because there is a gasket. So this is your bowl pretty much right here. Here's all your jets. So you want to wear some gloves and eye protection, because when you go spray carb cleaner in this, could get you in the eye. You don't want that. So find every little hole and spray into there. Oh gosh, it all works. You see how it's all flying around. Oh, that one's empty. And see, it don't take much to get that in your eye. So that's what I tell you, wear eye protection, because yeah, we're not going to spray nothing in this fuel pump. Do not do that because it will eat that diaphragm up and then you'll be regretting it. We're going to head and get some spray put in there. You can see there's a whole bunch of junk in there. You see it right there? Get that. And it's on my finger too right now. So we're going to go ahead and get that sprayed out really well. You may want to have a rag around so you catch your all your stuff that comes out of it. Oh, there's one more hole here. Which is blowing out good. And let that sit there. Whew. So now we know it's getting gas to everything else. But I'm still gonna spray through these jets here. You see these holes where this float is right there. Try to show you the best. As you can see, you look inside there. If you just take this gasket off, I really don't want to pursue doing that. It looks pretty clean on the inside there. It really does. So we're not going to pursue going underneath there. But if you need to, you just knock this pin out. You'll have to knock it that way to get that out. All right. So now there's this little shaft rod right here, that spring. You got to make sure it goes down into that bowl to make that work right. If you think you got it clean good enough, go ahead and put it back together. I know I do. I go through it really good, spraying. So go ahead and, if you want, I even, once in a great while, I'll take air chuck or air hose with a blower, blower. And I'll blow through all them lines to help blow more stuff out. Oh, I did miss one. There is one more here, a little hole. I'm going to take that back off and dump that out. It won't hurt to have that in there, but I just rather have it out of there. Just got to look really good for every little hole to get it blowed out really good. I'm going to spray that one more time. Alright, now let's try that again. That rod. Do not forget about that, because if you don't, then it sticks out and then you cause leaks. Then your float won't work right. And this is an Onin motor. 18 horse. Make sure you get them tight. Alright, so now we're ready to put the intake back on. So now this is how I took it off. I'm going to get my gasket put on there, my carburetor. Just got to be really careful. Take your time. Get that put in there. That one started, that's good. I didn't have to fight with it too much. which makes it nice when you don't have to fight too much. Makes the job a lot easier. We're going to tighten it down. All right, we're ready to go to the other side and put it back on. All right, so we're ready to put this back in. You're going to slide it into there towards your battery, slide it back over, and slide it in real careful. You don't get no dirt down in the motor. So we're going to go ahead and get them bolts put back on, which this was the back one. You know, what I'm going to do. All right. So, the governor rod here, that keeper that I pushed off, you better make sure you get it off there first. I lost mine. Now, I was told that all you got to do, it's just like right here. They zip tied the back here. So I looped my zip tie, tightened it so much, pushed my rod in there, and went from the back of here, looped it onto there, and pulled tight. And then I just cut the access off, which it holds it perfect. That's what I was told by someone else. So if that helps you out, because yeah, it made me sick when I lost it. So just remember where you put, or remember to take that off before you go any further. So we're going to go ahead and get my wires put on too before I forget. Spark plug wires. Once you hear them snap down, you're good. This wire that ran across here. Get our gas line put on. Well, no, we're going to wait on the gas line. Let's get this intake tightened down. Try not to get in a rush. That's my problem. I got rushed. That's how I lost it. Should have thought about that. So make sure you please, that keeper, make sure you take it out before you start cleaning that carburetor or anything, because it falls out. Or just make sure you get a small zip tied and zip tied rod in place. If not, the rod will just vibrate off and it won't stay in there. As you see, I tugged on it. It works perfect. I can't believe it does. We're going to go ahead and get these 4 bolts tightened now. We may have to wait on this one until we get. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait on that one because we need to get our air breather put on before we tighten that down. So just don't forget to tighten that down. So alright, we're gonna go ahead and get our vacuum line put back on the fuel pump, and our gas line put back on. So you need that. Tighten all that down. We got all the wiring put back on. Get all that put back on. We can't do the choke until we put this breather put back on. So we're going to go ahead and get this put back, or yeah, the air cover breather put back on. Which way to go? Okay. So we got to get all this. We got to get all this rubber stuff put back on too. So you're going to do is squeeze them in place. And it could be a bear a little bit. Just got to fight with it. You may want to dump off the stuff that's in it if there is any. You can see. Just put your hands down there and force it in there. Just make sure you don't pull it out of the motor. Same here, you know, you just turn that, get it in there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get the choke on next. Alright, so make sure your choke's all the way in. We'll go ahead and get it hooked up to this other, or the carburetor. Just gotta get it in that hole. And I gotta fight with it a little bit. There, see it went in there. You just gotta move things around, move that. See, that's why I left that loose too, it helped. I'm gonna take this little screw back out again. where the cable goes. Push that cable up there and put that screw back in place. You may have to squeeze them together a little bit. Make things start. Now, as long as your cable rod and that choke is all the way open, you should be in a pretty good position. If not, you'll just have to readjust it a little bit. Alright, so now we're ready to put the screws on top. Alright, now before we put these screws on there, we definitely want to make sure your choke's all the way on, so you're not losing them screws down your carburetor. You can check see if your cable works right, and it does, so it's perfect. I got that tightened down. Now we're going to go ahead and get our air filter put back on. And our wing nut, oh, wrong way. And then put your hood back on, which mine, like I said, the bolts are broke, or my hinges are broke, so there you go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.